Welcome to another video in the Fixed Assets Acquisition playlist. In the video today, I will run a full process demo on SAP S/4HANA for the Fixed Assets Acquisition with Asset Under Construction and Work Breakdown Structure, or WBS. I started in the previous videos by explaining the business process and the financial entries, and then I did a demo for this process using investment orders. Then I received many requests to do the same process using WBS. So this is what I will do today, and I will be looking forward to your comments and your requests after watching the video. Before watching this demo, it is very important that you watch the business process video first. I will leave you a link up there, so please watch it before you continue watching the demo. I will start by creating the project and the work breakdown structures. To do this, go to Accounting, Project System, Project Builder, CJ20N. Then go to Project, New Project. We can create a new project and we can also copy an existing one. In the demo today, I will create a new project from scratch. So this way you can see all the steps. So click on Project. Now let's remember the business case that we explained in the business process overview. So we are building our own warehouse. And the reason I am using work breakdown structure today is because I want to have a complicated structure for my project. So for example, let's say the warehouse will have multiple rooms, and inside every room we have multiple sections, and we want to track each one of these separately in a different WBS and also a different asset under construction, and maybe in the future we will also settle them to different fixed assets. This is why we are using work breakdown structure. And I will start now by creating the overall project definition. This is what we have here. So let's say this is the warehouse construction project. And the project definition, here we insert the project code. So my project code will be 3AGWH9. Enter. And then we also have a project profile here. The project profile is a very important configuration object. It determines many things, including the default values that will be inserted when we create this project now. So the investment profile is one of the fields that's determined based on the project profile. If you remember when we did the demo for investment orders, we also used the investment profile. Now this investment profile, the same one, can also be used for work breakdown structures. And if you don't remember this, the investment profile is what determines if an asset under construction will be created automatically, and also whether we can do line item settlement, and whether we can have multiple assets under construction for the same work breakdown structure or for the same investment order. This is what we explained in the last videos. So the investment profile will be determined automatically based on the project profile we insert here. Once you select a project profile and then hit enter, we have multiple fields that were determined automatically. All of this came from the project profile. So we have the controlling area, company code, profit center. And then if you go to control, here we have the investment profile. We also have other fields that are not related to the demo today. For the asset under construction, capitalization, and for the final asset, what's important for us is the investment profile. Now, if you go back to basic data, also here we have the status. And the status is only created, it's not released yet. Now I will save. And now we have our project definition. So I can double click here to display it. Now what we will do is we will create the hierarchy. So below this project definition, I will start by creating a parent WBS. And to do this, I will right click here and then click on create WBS element. So this one will be a parent. It will not be settled to an asset under construction. It will only be used for budgeting and for reporting. So this WBS will not be allowed to settle to an asset under construction, and also no one will be allowed to post directly to this WBS. And I will show you how we can do this. So this is our WBS, and here let's say this is also the warehouse construction. I will give it the same name as the project because it's the parent WBS. And then here we have something called account assignment element. Now, if I remove this, no one will be able to post any expenses or any financial postings to this WBS. And this is what we want because it's only used for reporting. We don't want any users to post expenses there directly. We are going to post to the lower level WBS. The second thing I will do is go to control. And here I will remove the investment profile because this one will not include an asset under construction. So it's not an investment object. Enter. And then if we go back to basic data, we also have the status created. Now I will create the lower level WBS. So right click here, and I will create another WBS, and this one, let's say it will be, so this one is WH901. So this one will be, let's say 3-AG-WH9-and 10. And this one will be room 1. So this is the first room in our warehouse. And then I will right click again and create room 2. So this one will be 20 and room 2. Enter. Then under room 1, I will create section 1 and section 2. So this one will be also the same number, but let's say instead of 10, it will be 11. And here it will be room 1, section 1. And also I will have another section here. This is just an example of how flexible this can be. And for the lower level WBS elements, we can assign an AUC and then do the settlement. For the higher level WBS, I will prevent the users from doing any postings by removing the checkbox in front of account assignment element. So here I have room 1, I have room 1 section 1, I will create room 1 section 2. Let's say this will be 12. And room 1 section 2. So now we have 2 rooms. One of the rooms will have multiple sections. Now for room 1, I don't want anyone to book expenses there, so I can also remove this. Or let's say if there are any expenses related to room 1 but not related to section 1 or 2, then they will be booked on this parent WBS. We can also allow this, so I will leave it as an investment WBS. And in the assignment here, I have my investment profile. In the control, we have our investment profile. So even the room 1 WBS will have an AUC, and we can post expenses directly there, or we can post expenses to room 1 or room 2, room 1 or section 1 or section 2. And then also we have the room 2 WBS, which will be responsible for any expenses for room 2. And let's say I also want to have an overhead WBS that will be settled to cost centers, not to asset under construction, for any expenses that are not going to be capitalized. To do this, I can double click here, I can right click here, then click on create WBS, and let's call this one, let's see, so this one will be 02, or let's say it will be 99. And here I will insert the description, non-capital expenses. And for this one, I will go to control, remove the investment profile because it will not have an AUC. And also I will maintain the settlement rule to a cost center in the next step. So now we have multiple work breakdown structures. We have work breakdown structure that will not accept postings. We have work breakdown structures that will accept postings and will be settled to AUC and then to a final asset. And we have one WBS that will not be that will accept postings but will be settled to a cost center, not to an AUC. And as you see, this one was created under room 2. And I wanted actually to be on the parent level, so I will click on it and move it under the parent WBS. So now we have room 1, room 2, and non-capital expenses. Now, if you want to review the details of the project and all the work breakdown structure elements under it, we can click on the tree head here and then click on overview, work breakdown structure element overview. And then here click on this plus. And we have all our work breakdown structures. So this one also has some under it. So here we have 01, 10, 11, 12, 20, and 99. And if you go to the overview tab, so every tab of these, each tab will show different fields to review and also to edit. So we can edit any value we want. And to see all the fields, we can go to the overview. And now we can review everything. So here we have the short ID, the profile. The important field for us is the investment profile. So first we have this checkbox that says account assignment object, account assignment element. And as you see, it is not checked for 01, but it is checked for all the rest. So 01 will not accept postings, but any other WBS will accept postings. Then if you go to the right, we have here the investment profile. So 01 has no investment profile because no postings will be there. and also 99 has no investment profile because it will be settled to a cost center, not to an AUC. It is not an investment object. Now the next step is to release these elements so we can start posting. To do this, I will go to the header WBS and then go to Edit, Status, Release, and save. Now if you go back to the details of the project, and check the status, now you see the system status is released and AUC created. So once we release the parent AUC, the parent WBS element, all the lower level WBS elements have been released also. And if we open the details here, you can see that for 01, it has no AUC. No AUC is created because there is no investment profile, and this is what we want. And also for 99, which is the overhead WBS, that will be settled to a cost center, there is no AUC, but for all the rest we have AUC created. Now if I go to any of them, so for example if we go to room 1 and I want to display the AUC, I can go here to Edit, WBS element, investment program, asset under construction, and this is the AUC that was automatically created for this WBS. Now let's go back. So far we still don't have any postings on these elements, and also we have not done any periodic settlement. And as in the investment order, until we do a periodic settlement, nothing will be updated in the settlement rule. So now if we go to the settlement rule, so Edit, Costs, Settlement Rule, nothing is here, and this is completely normal. It will be automatically updated with the AUC and the periodic settlement rule once we do the first periodic settlement. Now let's go back. What we can do for now is we can maintain the final settlement rule for the final fixed asset or for the cost centers. And this is something we can do now, or we can do after we do some postings, but before we do the final settlement. I will maintain it now, so this way we can accelerate the demo. So to maintain the final settlement rule, let's say I will start with the non-capital expenses. I will go here to I will go to Edit, Costs, and then Settlement Rule. Here the category will be CTR because this is a cost center, and the settlement receiver will be 1000. As I explained before, we can have multiple lines here. For example, we can have more than one cost center, and then we determine the percentages that will go to each of them. In my case today, I only have one cost center that will receive 100%. And here I can also determine whether this should happen periodically or should happen only when we do the final settlement. So let's say it will happen periodically, and also when we do the final settlement, I want it to go to the same cost center. So CTR 1000, and here I will have FUL for final settlement, and then check, then go back. So now I maintain the settlement rule for our non-capital expenses that will go to the cost center. The second step is to maintain the rest of the settlement rules. So let's go to room 1, and here I will maintain a settlement rule to a fixed asset. But before I do this, I want to create the fixed asset. So I can either go to the fixed asset screens and then create an asset, then assign it here, or from here we can go to Edit, WBS element, investment program, create completed asset, and then here we insert the asset class. So let's say 2000, and here this will be room 1. So let's say that I will assign all the WBSs to the same final asset. So each one of them will have a different AUC, but at the end I want all of them to go to one final fixed asset for the warehouse. In this case, I will call this one warehouse 9, for example. And here we have the cost center. Enter. So now I created the final asset, and if I go here to Edit, Costs, Settlement Rule, we have an automatic rule that was created here. The fixed asset still doesn't have a number because I did not save the transaction yet. So if I go back here, save, now the fixed asset has been created. If I go back to our project, to room 1, then go to Edit, Costs, Settlement Rule, here we have our final asset number. So this is our final asset, and it has been automatically created when we save the transaction. Now I will assign the same asset to the other work breakdown structure elements because I want all of them to go to the same fixed asset. So let's go back and then go to section 1, Edit, costs, settlement rule, and again FXA. Here is our fixed asset. Enter. It will take 100% from the final settlement. Go back, go to section 2, do the same thing. Settlement rule, FXA, up, back, and then room 2, go to edit, then costs, settlement rule, FXA, and here is our fixed asset, and done. So now I maintain the settlement rule for 1, 2, 3, 4 WBS elements, and once I save this, and here if we go to any of these work breakdown structure elements, you can see the status is released, AUC, and set C. Set C means settlement rule created. So this way I know that I created the settlement rule for the final settlement for these elements. Now let's move on and post some expenses to these elements. So after this we can do the periodic settlement and the final settlement. These elements can be used exactly as a cost center. So these are cost objects that we can use anywhere in the system. We can use from material management, from human supply chain management, or we can do direct financial postings to them. And this is what I will do now. So to post a financial entry, I will go to the transaction, FB50. And I will use the same accounts I used in the last demo. So today is 30 December 2022. We are almost at the end of 2022. Happy New Year, everyone. And here, these are the accounts I'm using. So this one is 05, 4000. So these are insurance expense and electricity expense. And here I have the bank account. So this will be debit, and credit. And let's say I will have a debit of 10,000 here and 20,000 here. And here I have a credit of 30,000. Then we need to assign the cost elements. So we have the WBS element here. So let's say I will start by posting to this one, to room 1. And then I will post to the sections 11 and 12. So let's go back. So here. Now I have 2 expense lines to the room 1 WBS. And let's say I will repeat the same lines, but for room 1. And another line for room 12. So I have only one line for room 1 and one line for section 1 and one line for section 2. So now we have 3 WBS here, and I will change the amount a little. So let's say this one will be 5,000 and this one will be 10, or let's say 20 or 40,000, different numbers. Now, and let's go back. So now I posted to this one, this one, this one. We have 20 and 99 remaining. So let's go back. I will post some electricity expenses again. Copy. So this one will go to 99. And I will post some insurance expenses to the last one. Insurance expenses, that will go to room 220. So now we have some lines going to 10, some lines going to 11, 12, and then we have another line to 11, another line to 99. So how many WBSs we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, so we have posted to all of them. And here, let's say this will be 10,000. I will remove the credit from here. So here we have only, so this will be also a debit. We have only one credit. Let's remove it. Enter. And now the total is 110,000. So just a summary in case you got confused. Here I'm posting different expenses to our work breakdown structure elements against a bank account. So we are paying expenses against a bank. So the total is 110,000. That is distributed between the different elements that we just created. Now post. To display the line items that we posted on the level of the work breakdown structure, we can go back. And there is a very nice report that we can use. You can find in accounting. project system, then information system, financials, line items, and here we have CJI3N, very famous transaction for project systems. It will show all the line items posted to the work breakdown structure elements. Double click here and then choose a database profile. I'm using the standard one. And here we can insert the project, not the work breakdown structure. So if we insert the project, it will show everything below it, or you can insert a WBS element and then you will see only the expenses assigned there. You can also choose to see it in a hierarchy display and then execute. And here we insert the date, of course, the posting date. So I'm displaying all the entries for December. And here we have our tree. So this is our project, our WBS. Then below we have the rooms and we have our non-capital expenses. And this is the total value posted of 110,000. Now let's go and do a periodic settlement. So I will open a new screen, and the periodic settlement transaction can be found in accounting, project system, financials, period end closing, single functions, and here we have settlement, individual processing, collective processing, and line item apportionment. So these are the same options that were available for investment management. And here we are going to use today individual processing. And in individual processing, we can either insert a WBS element, so it will be settled alone, or we can insert the project and all of the project will be settled. So here I inserted the project, and here we have the settlement period, December 12. The fiscal year is 2022, and I leave it at automatic to do the periodic settlement. And we have here test run, and I will also choose detail list. Execute. Here in the summary, we have 5 settlement executed, and we have 1 not relevant. And this is correct because we have 1 WBS that's not to be settled because it has no expenses, which is the parent. Now, if I want to see the details, we can go here. And here we have the senders. So the senders are the WBSs 10, 20, 11, 12, 99. And the receivers are the different AUCs. And for 99, it will go to the cost center. So now everything is going as per planned. And here we can see the amount. Also, if you want to see more details, for example, we can go here to the receiver and then click on this icon, which will take us to the master data. And we can see the master data of the AUC. The same can work also for the cost center. Or you can go to the WBS, also click on the master data. It will take you to the WBS master data. So this is a very flexible report that can show you all the details you want. And we can also go ahead and see the receiver details. For example, here, it will show the line items and so on. Now let's go back, remove the test run and execute again. So this will do the actual update to the system. And this is it for the periodic settlement. To do the final settlement, we use the same screen. So I will go back, and here instead of automatic, I will choose full settlement. And again, we have test run, execute. And here we have, again, the summary is we have 4 settlement executed, 1 no change and 1 not relevant. So the one that's not relevant is the parent WBS, and the one that has no change is the one that we settled to a cost center, 99, because we did not post any expenses, so there is nothing to be settled. It has already been settled to the cost center 1000. So there is no other settlement to be done. So if we go here to the details, we have the 4 WBSs that will go to the different fixed assets, or to our 1 fixed asset that we assigned in the final settlement, as you see here. So this is the final fixed asset. If we go to the master data, so this is the one that we created and assigned to the final settlement rule, and all of them will be settled to the same one. We can also have different assets. As you saw, I created the settlement rules, so I can assign different assets to the different WBSs. I can also assign different assets to the same WBS and distribute different percentages to each of them. It is very flexible. So here we have all the receivers, we have all the senders, and this is our final settlement. So now you have seen the full process. So how to create a project, how to create a WBS, then how to assign the AUC, how to assign the final fixed asset, or to assign a cost center if needed, or we can even combine all of them. So for the same WBS, we can have a part that goes to fixed asset, a part that goes to cost centers. It is very flexible. I hope you found the video useful. If you have any questions in the process, please leave me a comment. I always check them, and I can make another video explaining and answering your questions. Thank you for watching. Happy New Year. I wish you a happy 2023, full of success and full of happiness. And I will see you again in 2023. Thank you.